Hello, children. Welcome to Sunday school. Today, I need your guys' help. Let's pretend we are going on a vacation, a special vacation. We are going on a hike in the woods. And so we're going to be doing a lot of walking. And so we can't take a big suitcase. Everything we take needs to fit in our backpack. So, can you all help me pack my backpack for a hike in the woods? It needs to be all the important stuff that we take. First off, we need a device that can be used for cutting. If we need to hack our way through the forest or to cut down some branches to make a shelter, things like that. Do you think we should take a little knife like this? Or do you think we should take a really big knife called a machete? I don't have a machete, so this is the closest thing I have. What do you think we would need for a hike to help us out in the bush? A little tiny knife or a big knife we can hack down some branches and stuff with and create a path or cut down a shelter? Yes, a machete. A machete is a good choice. So we'll put our machete in a case and stick it in our backpack. We don't want to cut ourselves. All right, that was a good choice. Next, do you think we should take our iPads or tablets, or do you think we should take a compass to help show us where we're going and to help us not get lost and be able to find our way home? What do you think is the better choice here? Right, it's the compass. We need to know our way. So we're going to put that in our backpack. Put in our compass. We don't need an iPad at all. That's not going to be helpful out in the woods. All right. So now we have a device for protection and for cutting branches and for making a shelter. And we have our compass to help show us the way. So next, what do you think? Should we take our first aid kit? In here we have Band-Aids and we have antibacterial polysporin, and we have kinds of things that if we injure ourselves, we can take care of ourselves, or a good book to read. What do you think? I think a first aid kit is probably our best choice. As much as I love reading, a book is not going to help me if I cut my hand on my machete. I'm going to need my first aid kit, so we'll put our first aid kit in our backpack. All right, now, we are hiking through the woods, remember? So we need to dress our feet. What do you think we should put on our feet for this walk through the woods? Do you think we should wear shoes and look really nice? Or do you think we should put on a big, tough pair of boots so that we can walk without fear of something sticking in our feet or twisting our ankle when our heels sink down into the forest floor? What do you think is the choice here? Hard choice? Not really. We know this is going to be the best choice. We can tie it up tight, can keep our ankles firm so we don't twist our ankle. So we are going to choose our nice, tough hiking boots. That is the best choice. Next and last of all, do you think we should take a granola bar or fire? What do you think? Think this through. A granola bar is delicious, but it's gone in a minute, and it's not going to keep you warm. But if you take this, you can be warm. You can start yourself a fire to keep you warm. You can start yourself a fire, and if you catch some fish, you can cook your fish. If you catch a rabbit, you can cook your rabbit. This is the better choice, right? Fire is the better choice because above all, you need to keep warm. You can go a little while without food, but if you get too cold, it's not going to be a good thing. And there's also always food out in the wild that you can catch. So make sure you have some fire. So we'll put our fire in our backpack. So we have a machete. We have our compass to show us the way. We can find our way back when we've decided we've hiked enough. We have our first aid kit for if we injure ourselves. We have fire to keep us warm and to cook what food we find. So we are ready. That took some planning. That took some sitting down and working things through. But now we are ready for our journey. We are going to learn about a story of the people of Israel in the Bible. They had to leave for a journey quick. God told Moses, you tell the people we're leaving right away. They didn't have time to sit down and plan like we just did. They had to get moving. And it wasn't just a few of them. 2 million people plus animals had to pack up and get ready to go. Some of them only had the clothes that they were wearing. They didn't have time to make big loaves of bread, so they made flatbread with no yeast. Quick, whatever they could grab quick, and started on their journey. But you know what? God told them to go. So we know that God provides everything that we're going to need. So they left in a big hurry. They didn't take all day. They got themselves gathered up and took off. They put on their backpack with only the necessities. They didn't have time or space or the ability to carry all the food, all the water, all the things that we would camp in a camper when we were going camping. They didn't have the ability to carry all that with them. So they just gathered up their stuff and they started walking. And it wasn't long that they were walking before all the food they had brought with them, their few flatbread and their whatever of vegetables they grabbed on their way out was gone, and they were hungry. And their stomachs started to rumble, and what happened then? They started to grumble. They grumbled and complained to Moses. We're hungry. It was better that we stayed in Egypt and died there instead of coming out into this wilderness and dying where there's no food and no water. And they were really upset. They were so aggravated. Oh my goodness. They were ready to hang Moses up. You brought us out here just for us to die. And so Moses went to God and said, God, I listened to you. I spoke the words you said. You brought us out here into this wilderness, and I know that you're going to provide what we need, because that is what you do. You always provide our needs. And somehow along the way, the rest of the Israelites forgot somehow that God provides their needs. So God came up with a plan. And God sent down manna from heaven every morning, except on the Sabbath day. He sent down manna. They could use it for bread and for biscuits and for porridge and all kinds of things. Every morning they gathered only what they were going to need that day, because God was faithful and he was going to send some more the next day. You know, there was a few people who weren't quite sure that God was faithful, and they weren't quite sure that he was going to send food the next day, so they gathered more than they needed. They were disobedient. And when they woke up the next morning, it was full of worms and it smelled awful. Not cool. So then they learned, God is faithful. He will send it every day. And so they gathered only what they needed, except before the Sabbath. And they gathered stuff for the Sabbath as well, because God didn't want them working on the Sabbath day back in those days. So God sent food from heaven. He provided what they needed. And he didn't just stop there. You know, after a while, they got tired of eating manna, even though it was angels' food from heaven, and they started grumbling again, saying that they wanted meat. So God sent them down quail from heaven, and they didn't have to even hunt for it. They come out, and there was quail lying there for them to take all over. As much as they wanted, it was there. And you know what? There was so much they couldn't eat it all, and they all became sick. They ate and ate and ate, and it didn't satisfy them like they thought it was going to. And then there was all this dead quail everywhere. because they couldn't eat it all, because God sent abundance of quail for them. So they've had manna from heaven, they've had quail. God provided their needs. And so they're walking on, and they're hot, and they're dusty, and they're dirty, and they start grumbling again. What are they grumbling for this time? Well, they're thirsty, and there's no water to be found. They're in the wilderness, like a desert place. And they are grumbling and complaining. Again, they're ready to string Moses up, and they're like, why did you bring us here? We're just going to die. We might as well have died in Egypt. And they got so upset with him. And so again, Moses goes to God and said, God, I know you. You will provide our needs. Tell me what to do. This people is so upset. Just tell me what to do, and I will do it. So God told Moses to hit a stone with his rod. And you know what happened? When he hit the stone, water gushed out. Just poured out like a waterfall. Lots and lots of water. So God provided them their water. And, do you think they were satisfied, or do you think they started getting grouchy again? They got grouchy every once in a while because that's just who they were. But God provided them all of their needs. He provided water. He provided food, not just manna, but quail. And as they walked through the wilderness, do you know what? Their one set of clothes that they had never wore out, never got holes, never got too small. And the same with their shoes. Their shoes didn't wear out. Their sandals didn't come apart. They obviously grew with their feet because they weren't too small. That is a miracle. God provided miracles so that they would have everything that they needed. Wow, just incredible. All right. Let's talk about our memory verse. We have been learning the memory verse. Blessed is the man who hears the word of God and keeps it or obeys it. Now, today, we are going to start a new Bible verse. And I have it here on a board because it's a big one. I'll put it on a board here so we can all learn it together. It says, let's see if we can set this up so we can all read it. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Hebrews 11:61. All right, now, this has a lot of big words in this memory verse. So we're going to talk about it for a few minutes to help you understand. But without faith. What is faith? Well, we know that our mom and dad are going to have food and clothing for us. We know we're not going to be hungry. Mom and dad are going to provide. That is called faith, a belief that they are taking care of it. So we must have faith in God, a belief in God that he's going to take care of everything that we need. Without this belief in God, it's impossible. Impossible means it is not possible. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. We're not going to be able to please God, to make God happy, if we don't have faith that he is going to take care of us. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. We must believe in God in order to please him. And he is a rewarder. What does a rewarder mean? A rewarder is someone who gives awards or good things. That's God. He gives good things to us, to those that diligently seek him. What does diligently mean? It means constantly and carefully. We constantly and carefully every day are seeking God. What does seeking God mean? Do you know what seeking God means? Is looking for him and wanting to be closer to him and spending time in his word. All right, so we can read it again. But without faith, Without belief God is going to take care of us, it is impossible to please him, to make him happy. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. We must believe there is a God, and we must believe he's a rewarder. He will do good things for them who seek after him constantly and are always looking for ways to come close to him. So let's read it according to this again, now that we know what it means. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So this is going to be our memory verse for the next little while. So we will be learning stories about seeking God and how God rewards those who seek him. Always remember, God will provide your needs, just like he did for the children of Israel. He will provide those things that we need. Now, it's hard sometimes to say God is everywhere. And it's hard sometimes for us to bend our head around it because we can't see him with our eyes. But think of the wind. The wind blows and we cannot see the wind anywhere. No matter how hard we look, we can't see the wind. But we can see the grass blowing in the wind. We can see the trees blowing in the wind. We can feel the wind blowing in our hair. We can feel it on our skin. So we know there's wind, even though we can't see it. And the same is with Jesus. We must believe in Jesus. We can't see him with our eyes, but we can feel him with our heart. We can feel his presence coming close to us. When you get the Holy Ghost, you can feel him speaking through your tongue. We know there is a God because of all of these things. So, the first thing to pleasing God is we have to believe that he is. Yes, there is a God. Yes, he is good. Yes, he is a provider of all the things that we need. So, this week, remember, God provides your needs. No, we don't always get the wants, but the needs are always provided. The Bible tells us that he will provide what we need for life, our food and our raiment. He will provide that for us so we never have to fear. Everything will be okay if we trust in him, if we believe in him and that he is a rewarder. Everything will be just great. Thank you guys so much for helping me pack for my journey. I'm going to go off outside now and have a journey in my yard. But I'll see you guys all again next week. Love you guys. Have a good week.